what's up, everyone? My name is Sam. I'm the creative director for Rokoko. This is going to be a series that we're going to start doing, which we wanted to do for a little while, where basically I just kind of sit down and we make something fun and relatively easy using the Rokoko, motion capture tools, of course, but then also a variety of other programs. So today we're going to be making a little fun animation in Cinema 4D, but we'll do things in Blender and Maya and Unreal, as we keep doing these. So we're going to leave it at that. No big introduction. That's going to be it. Let's make something cool. So for this one, I'm going to be working in Cinema 4D, as I said, and we have a John Norlander, who I'm sure some of you know, recently put out a cool little piece that I thought would be fun to try and make. So this piece was super fun. This caught my eye, and so I thought it would be fun for us to kind of go through and try to recreate this, pretty quickly, and see if we can make something similar to this. So this, I think, according to the description, John made this using the smart suit, and then it looks like he just kind of balanced on one foot, and then I think what's happening here is basically he's taking the geometry of all these different mocap takes, which maybe it's one take just kind of retimed, and then he's putting it into like a mesher, and you're getting these cool, basically these like blobby type animation between all of these figures. And so we can do something similar to this in Cinema 4D using the volume mesher tools. And so we'll try to, I think this was done in Houdini, but we'll try and make it in Cinema 4D. So let's do it. So first things first, we got to record some mocap. So I'm actually going to switch back to my other Wi-Fi network. Whenever I record mocap, I actually use a dedicated Wi-Fi router, so it's nothing fancy, but it's just not connected to the internet, and it just means that I know that no one else in like the house is streaming 4K, YouTube videos or whatever, which can throttle the bandwidth of the Wi-Fi network. So switch back to my other Wi-Fi network. I'm going to throw on smart gloves, even though we don't really need them in this, and so in order to use smart gloves, I basically roll up the sleeve of the end of the smart suit, and then I just wear the gloves, and the wires are all threaded through the suit and connected to a battery in the back. So let's get these bad boys on. Green and blue lights are good. We'll wait for this hand to get ready, and then we'll stand up and do a little something. So I actually gotta assign my suit and my gloves to my character, and then I'm just going to get up and do a straight pose. Click straight pose. Cool, okay, we're ready to go. So I thought for this, basically, I would do something where like the character is kind of looking back at itself, and we're just going to record one take, and then we're going to retime that take, and in multiple, like we'll make copies of that one mocap take, and then we'll use just retimed versions. And I think it'll work well, and hopefully we can make it a seamless loop too, if I play my cards right. So I'm going to start basically like in a just standing straight up and not moving, so for a few seconds, and then I'm going to start moving around. So let's just record something. I'm actually going to create a new project here. We're going to call this John Norlander C4D. Not sure if that's how you spell his name. And we're still rigged up. Okay, so I'm good to go. I'm just going to hit record. we'll hit stop. So I think, I mean, it was pretty simple. I didn't even really need the gloves to do that, but I figured I would throw them on anyway because they're fun to play with. And we won't even really see the gloves because the meshing that we're going to do, we're going to build this volume, and I think the fingers will kind of get lost. But let's check that take out. So my idea was that, like, we would be standing here, and then you would have these different versions kind of splitting off and like looking back at the original. And the key with something like this, I think, is to keep your feet in the same position. I mean, even more so, you just want to have like it branching from a singular looking source. So I think this will look cool, but we're just gonna go with it and see what's what. Yeah, I mean, that looks fine. So I you know, one take, nailed. I'm actually gonna take my gloves off because we're not gonna do anything else. Pop them off. You know, but hopefully we'll be able to do this pretty quickly. I don't think this effect is going to take a long time. There'll be some rendering afterwards, but like, I think this is the sort of thing you can do in like half an hour, if I'm not wrong. We'll see how wrong I am when we get into it. And I'm just gonna tuck my little wires in here, and I'm gonna just leave my suit on because I don't feel like taking it off. So we got everything recorded. It looks good. Let's I'm gonna export this out, and then we can retarget it to a character in Cinema 4D. So I'll hit export. I'm just gonna do an FBX binary. I like the Maya Human IK, so I'm gonna leave it even though there's a Mixamo option. I just think this is the best skeleton generally for most of the programs. So let's hit export, and then we can jump into Cinema. And I've already saved this project, which is always good to do. I have a character that I got from Mixamo. So this is just like a standard character from Mixamo. I downloaded it in a T-pose. So that should be, you know, that's what we need. So I've already downloaded that. If I drag that character into Cinema, bada boom. And actually it's created a new project. So let's jump back into our first one. Okay, so here we have our character. We just exported our mocap out of Rokoko Studio, so let's go import it. File, merge objects. Documents, Smart Suit projects. Go to exports. Take one. Let it load up, and then make this, I don't know, make this 1,000. And then let's take a, okay, so there we go, yeah. So there's the mocap. I'm gonna make this actually 1,200. Yeah. Okay, so now the question is, how do we retarget this mocap right to our character? So what we're gonna do is we right click on the character and we go to rigging tags, character definition, and we open up the manager and then hit extract skeleton. What this is going to go through and try to, it's going to identify all the different bones, so that we can create, so that basically we can retarget our mocap onto this character. And so to do that, you need to have you need to have defined the bones in the mocap and the bones in the character, and then that way you can get them to like talk to each other. So, you know, create a character definition, extract skeleton. I'm going to do the same thing for my my mocap character definition, rigging tags, character definition, open manager, extract skeleton, boom, boom, boom. Okay, so now what we want to do is we want to go to our character's character definition on our character skeleton, this Mixamo hips, and we're going to hit create solver. And so then we can input our source character. And now when we hit play, yeah, there we go. It's retargeted. So it was like that easy. Super simple. And that's all of our mocap on our character. So I'm going to hide these bones, which you can do just by turning on the traffic lights, this top traffic light here. Okay, so we got our mocap recorded. That was easy. Got it onto our character. That was easy. Now how do we create that cool like meshing effect? And so what we're going to do is we're going to make, I think, 3 copies of this character. So Alt-G with everything selected. Kind of made it, I don't know why it made it taller. That's weird. But we have dummy, 01. Then we can make dummy 02. Oh. And dummy 03. And I'm just holding down control when I drag them, and that makes a copy. Okay, now we have 3 versions, right? So I can move up. But we don't want to move them. Dummy 03, I don't know why you did that. I'm just going to make it again. We don't want to move them. We want to have them be in the same place, but we want them to be at different times, right? So the way that we're going to do that is we're going to click on one of our dummies. We're going to leave the first one alone, but click on the second dummy. We're going to go to Animate, Add Motion Clip, uncheck Remove Included Animation, because we want to keep our animation. Hit OK. And then it's going to add this little tag over here. And if we select that tag, hit Open in Timeline, here we have basically our animation, and we can move this to retime it. So basically we'll just retime it like, let's say 30 frames, because we can do it evenly across the 3 of them. So actually let's do like 60 frames each. So then it'll kind of go like that. Yeah, that'll be cool and super weird. Okay, so we're gonna do the same thing, except we're gonna move the next one to minus 120. So double this, right? And we're gonna go click on it, animate, add motion clip, boom, boom, boom. Remember that needs to stay unchecked. Hit OK. We should get another little tag here. Click that tag, open a TL, and again, this one's still at 0. We're gonna move this guy back to 120-ish. It doesn't need to be perfect. And now, here we go. Let's take a look at this. Whoa, weird. So that's already kind of cool. But the thing that was really neat about the John's animation was that, like, see here you have just 3 separate meshes, but they're not like, kind of like melding and gluing to each other. They just are very separate, right? Just like they intersect each other, and it's very sharp, and we want them to all kind of seem like one, like Hydra beast, where they all are kind of the same thing, and they're all kind of growing out of the same body. And we can do that using the volume builder and volume mesher in Cinema 4D. Again, I think he did this in Houdini, so you can do this probably with Vellum, or I don't know. I'm more of a beginner in Houdini, but I'm sure there's a way to do this in Houdini. There's probably also a really easy way to do this in Blender, and Maya as well. But we're gonna stay in Cinema 4D for this one. So let's add a volume builder. We're gonna build the volume first, and we're gonna put these 3 dummies inside of the volume builder. And so you can see immediately we get these, and I'm gonna turn these guys off because we just want to see the final product here. And you can see that it's got this, this is a volume. So this is built out of voxels. And again, I mean, you can like learn about this stuff if you want on, there's tons of tutorials and stuff going over this. But this is a really cool tool. I'm just going to make this 1. Let's make it like 0.6. Yeah. Because we'll smooth it out a little bit more. So now we have a volume, right, made up of these 3 dummies. But now we want to mesh this volume. So if we click the volume, hold down Alt, open up that volume, whatever, drop down, go to volume mesher. Oh, starting to get more interesting now. And already you can see like this is much more organic in how it's being, on how the intersection is. And if we play with this, let's go to the volume builder. Let's add an SDF smooth. So that makes it even more. So you see that? It's like really like connected now. And we can bring this voxel size down a little bit more to add some detail. It's going to start flipping out if we do too much. So instead of doing that, we could change this threshold a little bit. And we don't really need like defined hands. I mean, again, if we wanted them, we could, let's make this 0.25. Get a little bit more detail. So there's like some weird hand stuff going on there, but that's fine for our purpose, right? Because we don't really need it to be that detailed. And for what we're going for this kind of these figures that are built out of one thing, I think we don't even need that much detail. Let's go back to 0.5. Oh, let's make it 1, see what happens. That looks really weird. 0.5. So let's play it. It's probably going to play super slow. But you can see that we kind of have this interesting thing going on here. And especially I like how it like grows out of one body. And we could, if we like if we locked the hips in place for all these characters, they might even look, I think the key to selling this effect is that you share some body parts that just like are not moving at all. So in this one, the knees are bending, for example, but in John's post, let's go back to it for a second. Here, like he has that one leg which looks like it's not moving at all, like it's firmly planted. So that looks really interesting. So, in future ones, we could do something like that. See, he has the same kind of weird detail in the hands because of this volume process. But, I mean, that's basically it, I think. I mean, it looks pretty similar. I'm gonna, let's mess around with these a little bit more. What is this? Strength. Oh yeah, no. Strength all the way up. I'm not gonna mess with it really, because I kind of like it. And I mean, I also like the more that they are, well, I don't know, that's pretty cool too. It's adaptive too. No, I don't like that. I don't know what that does. You can tell I'm a pro with this process. But you don't really need to understand it all to be able to make something cool using it. So this looks cool. This looks fun. Let's like render this out. I'm just gonna quickly, so I'm using Octane in Cinema. I think let's turn all of these off and we're gonna do a little camera timing. So I was thinking like the camera could be circling around these guys, and then hopefully it'll be like a seamless loop by the time we get back to the first frame if we do it right. Okay, this is where they start. So let's create a camera. First of all, let's create a plane. I'm gonna make it big. I'm gonna add a little. Okay, we're gonna save. We should really save it a new version, but this was so easy to do. If we need to redo it, we just can, because it wasn't that tough. Go up to Octane, start my live viewer window. I'm gonna make this guy tiny. Start it up. Hopefully my computer won't freak out. This looks cool. If we add a little glossy material, like a white glossy material, then the the background will disappear. I think in John's there was a cool like color. So let's like make the characters themselves. I mean, I'm a big fan of pink. We could try yellow. I think pink will be good. Pink is always fun. So that looks cool, right? Very interesting. And then the other thing that's going to make this look really cool is if we add some highlights. So I'm going to add some some specular on this glossy material. I just use area lights generally for this sort of thing. So create an area light. I'll make this smaller again. Create an area light. I usually put it off to the side a little bit. So that's obviously far too much. If I select the Octane light setting, go to main, turn it into a Fresnel, which is what I often do. I'm going to bring it in a little bit closer. We really want that shine, right? Yeah, 0 roughness. That's good. That's what we want. And then I'm going to turn off the visibility. Then I'm going to copy it, and I'm going to put one, like a smaller one, kind of backlighting them, even though we're going to be rotating around. We'll just add more interest. And we're not going to, this is kind of, it's going to, it's like, I like this blank white void kind of vibe. Let's make this pink a little bit darker. And that's kind of just, we're just going to keep it simple and not have a real environment or anything like that. Okay, but that looks cool. Yeah, let's add in a camera. Objects, Octane camera, select it. So I want this to be rotating around these guys. So whenever I do that, I like to nest. So Alt-G, select the camera, Alt-G, puts it in a null. I'll just name this camera. And then I can, if I middle mouse click, I get this view top. I can get my, top view. And I'm going to change the axis center to on the characters, so then I can rotate like around them in a uniform way. I can orbit them. This is an easy way to do it. And so I can either toggle this button to change the axis, rotational axis location for the camera, or I can leave that off. If I hold down L, I love this trick. You can move it, and then like as soon as I let go of L, it'll toggle that on and off. So let's do that. I'm gonna mess around with this a little bit, and then, well, let's do the animation first. So, take the camera, because I think it is worth knowing how to do this. Take the camera. This thing is going to be right. You can see that the camera is circling around using this value. So I'm gonna make this 0 just to keep it easy. Keyframe it. Then go to the ending. And I'm going to make this 720. So that's 2 rotations, around twice. Keyframe it. And then I'm going to select those 2 keyframes that I just made. Which I might need to do. Sometimes it doesn't show up in my timeline, which is frustrating. I don't know why that is. I want to show my keyframes, yo. That's been a thing before. Yeah, so I have multiple takes here. Let's go back to the main take, and then maybe we'll be able to see it. Yeah, now my keyframes, so you can see them. So it was what take we were in. So now I can see my keyframes. Oop. And like they're right there. Boop, boop. Oh, I'm hiding. You can't see it under my... There it is. Whoop, 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 whoop. Put this back. So I'll select these. I'll hold down Shift and click and drag on the timeline. and then right click on that selected area and hit linear. So now it's not going to like slowly speed up and then slow down at the end. It's just going to be in constant motion from this first frame to this last frame, and that'll make a smooth loop when it finishes. So, and actually what we can do is, what frame is this start on? Here, we can select our, I'm just gonna minimize that. Select the camera, null, animation, next keyframe. So that is 103. So I'm gonna make this 103. And then let's go to the next, right click on this guy, animation, next keyframe. What is that? 977. So now this preview is our loop, and it should loop perfectly. If we jump into this, so this is obviously not playing very well, but it will look cool, I think, when it's rendered out. Let's check it in the old Octane viewer. Pretty cool. And so I think what I'll do is actually, I'll make this camera, if I go to depth of field, let's turn that on. Pump up the aperture, control middle click, hey, and then that'll focus it on that area in the Octane viewer window. If I click the camera itself, I can change the focal length. I'm gonna make it like 50. Move it up a tiny bit. I kind of want to like zoom in on just the upper body too, so let's do that. And now let's hit play. So that's the basics of how to get this effect. I'm going to render this out, and that's what you're going to see. You will have seen at the beginning of this video probably. Yeah, I mean, easy, fun to put together. I mean, you could use this in a million different ways, right? And I think the key to selling this effect would be to like remain very still and like just move your arms, and then you could get some really weird like multi-armed creature that all looks like it's kind of coming from the same body. And just because of these, it's like these this area right here where it looks like it's organically meshing together. That's, I think, what looks cool. And you know what? I think, in fact, if we make this like 8, we're going to lose those hands. But then maybe we can build up this guy a little bit more. Ooh, that was too much. So we can't go down that much, but we can make this 7, I bet. Let's try 7. Yeah. 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 That looks cool. So that's it for this one. Yeah, like I said at the beginning, we want to do a lot more of these, and in different programs and stuff. And again, the idea is just to, sometimes it's nice just to see someone kind of going through the process and like making mistakes, and so you get to see how they fix them and things like that. So that's kind of going to be the goal with this series. Hopefully you guys like this and find it useful. Please put any requests for what you'd like to see us do in the future in the comments below, and we'll check those out. And stay tuned for more of this kind of fun content. And here is the animation. Fade into the animation. See you, everyone.